Thursday, February 26th, it's 9:30 a.m. I'll call the meeting to order. Ms. Parker, will you give us a roll call, please?
Yes, Sammy Standifer,
Here.
Daniel Sanchez,
Here.
Ursula Parker here, Gary Watkins,
Here.
Mike Woolley,
Here.
Ian Hillsman,
Here.
Steve Davis,
Here.
all here in a quorum.
Very good, thank you. We have a quorum. Next item, approval of minutes. I'd like to discuss and take action on item A, which is regular minutes of the meeting of January 29th, 26th. You've had time to review those. I'll entertain a motion. Second for those minutes. Or any discussion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes for January 29th. Second.
We've got a motion and a second on the, to approve the minutes for January 29th. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Second item is a regular meeting of February 12th, 2026. I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes as well.
Make that motion to approve minutes for February 12th.
Motion by Mr. Watkins. Do I have a second?
I second.
Second by Mr. Hillsman. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No. Very good. Next item, staff reports and updates. We just have a few items. If you're not ready for these, we'll move on to the next one. But we'll start, I believe, Mr. Minton, we discussed the capital improvement, infrastructure capital improvement plan, or maybe a presentation on that.
You are correct. However, we have ICIP infrastructure capital improvement plan listed twice. Once is discussion or updates, and the other one as discussion and action items. On the agenda, are they one and the same?
Well, we wasn't sure if you needed action from us. If you don't, we'll move on, but if you. Staff report and update section is for y'all to give us report.
Well, tell
The
you what,
action items are.
let's do both.
Okay.
Okay,
that's
so-
okay.
So let's talk infrastructure capital improvement plan, submitted in 2025 with potential or pro forma results in 2026. So the team went to work on putting together the ICIP plan in 2025, submitted it in, I believe, July of 2025.
Oh, yeah, it's a little bit before July, yes.
July 2025, then it went through normal processes. And as a result of the legislative session and others, we've been given data that supports that we received about $375,000 for our number one requested item, which was stormwater drainage master plan. We've been given reports that will be funded $325,000 for a street sweeper. We've been given reports that we will be funded $250,000 for cemetery expansion and renovation. And I believe, Mayor, you posted something on the solid waste transfer station.
Trash transfer station, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and hit that up. We've been awarded, I think, what, $1.2 million for the solid waste transfer station, and that's already been signed, I believe. And
That's federal funds, yeah.
yeah, federal funds. So, and keep in mind, when you go forward with grants on federal funds and other type of granting, you have to have those things listed on your infrastructure capital improvement plan for a higher ranking request and so on for different kinds of grants. So that's a big deal. And did I miss anything on there?
And 2.5
And Q&A came under what?
drainage.
Oh, drainage. And that was the citywide drainage program or the 18th Street?
Yes, but it was for Roosevelt Road 7 and Roosevelt Road Q&A for $100,000.
Okay, and $100,000 for improved drainage. So in the 2025-2026, we received, including the solid waste transfer with federal funds, about $2.2 million as a result of the efforts of 2025-26. So that's the update as we know it right now, subject to your questions.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'll
that's
wait for
awesome.
action items for
That's
action.
a large amount, even without the federal grant, so that's a very good turnout just from the savings. Very nice.
And then now we'll have to turn those in. Well, other than the federal piece, we'll have to wait for more to see. I mean, the governor still has the opportunity, I believe, up until March 12th. Does that sound about right? To accept or veto these. So although these are pro forma data bits, we won't know for sure until, say, March 13th. You may have seen some things in the paper about, hey, these counties have been awarded this, that, and the other thing. Well, yeah, but we have to wait till the second week of March to figure out if anything.
Has any other been signed that you know of, or?
Only the federal one,
Only the federal.
only the federal one for 1.2 on the waste transfer station. And then I'll wait till action items and I'll talk ICIP and then ask on that. Okay.
The transfer station, would it be, maybe it's too preliminary, or is it something where a convenience center is now, so an improvement there, it'd be a new situation.
And since you asked, the ball will largely be in your court.
Yes, sir.
So as we move forward, and these are one of the things that we will rely on and push to your court. And I'll talk about those reasons why when I talk about action item under ICIP and also grants. Okay.
Very good, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Midden? No questions. Move on, the next report update, I believe we'd asked Pat, and if you're not ready, that's fine, we can move on, but we was talking about, your public works, maybe staffing and equipment update, just so we had a good idea of capability or non-capability, so if you have any information for us.
Okay. So Public Works in total, including me, is 60 employees. With 10 vacancies at this time. My plan is to consolidate 2 positions so I can actually get a supervisor in charge of the mechanics department and kind of switch that position to a supervisor / fleet maintenance. So we could start a preventive maintenance program and everything else on all of our equipment that we're doing. So currently our positions, we have 1 vacant in mechanics, 2 vacants in parks, 1 in streets, 2 in water and 2 in wastewater, and 1 for the clerks for the billing for water. But I believe that's going to be filled up pretty soon. So we should be down to 59 total employees, but hopefully with that new position, we'll get a better grasp on our equipment and our fleet maintenance programs that I want to develop. This past year, we've actually gotten quite a few pieces of equipment, which vehicles. Water got like 3 vehicles, streets got a couple. One of the main ones in water is we got a truck, a 350 with the boom arm, so they're able to lift these pumps and everything out without calling another company in to assist with that. So, and we are looking at trying to get another one. With some of our budget adjustments that we just are making. And then for street department, we are going to do a few budget adjustments. We're getting stuff like we're going to get a trencher for our skid steer, like an attachment to help with trenching, because we're going to have to start doing some irrigation work. So we're going to get that in hopefully this by summer. We're also going to get a couple more trucks and a couple other attachments for our skid steer.
For the parks or streets?
We're ordering in the parks, but it's going to be for both.
I see.
So the attachments, we looked at kind of like the trencher, $85 or $85,000 for a good trencher, or we paid $35,000 for attachment for our skid steer, and hopefully down the road get a different trencher for standalone one. Solid waste, we are actually got 3 trucks on order. 2 of them been on order since I think June, July. They're supposed to be here April, May, and then we just put another one on order, and that one's supposed to be here in May also. So hopefully we'll have 3 brand new trash trucks by summertime also. That will help them greatly. The plan with that after that is the 3 that we do currently have. We're getting quotes so we can do a complete overhaul on them. So when we get the 3 new ones, I'll start putting the other ones into the shop to get a complete overhaul. And then we'll start doing a rotation on those trucks. That way we're not hitting them as hard and be able to get this preventive maintenance done. Currently, I think we have two backhoes at work, one in cemetery and one in the streets. So we've had plans to order another one right now with our budget adjustment. So hopefully, once these go through, we should have another one pretty soon. They do, but it's actually we have 3 backhoes. And the 4th one that's I'm thinking about is actually at the convenience center that's kind of needs maintenance on it. But those are the plans, but we've been getting a lot of pieces of equipment. Once we get those assessed, we'll probably put in for some more in this next budget year to see what we need. We've actually ordered a cement mixer. These guys in the parks, their cement mixer was broken and they're doing it by hand. So I made sure we're going to order one of those. They had a stack of Quikrete trying to do it by hand. That takes a lot of work. With the mixer, it's going to help them do it faster and not quite as much work for the parks crew when we do that. That's going to be on order pretty soon. And then we had saws that were broken that we couldn't use saws, so they're using the backhoe to cut concrete. So now we have 2 saws that cut concrete asphalt. So our equipment is actually starting to look a lot better than when we started at the beginning of the year.
On your manpower, the 60 employees, do you have temporaries also?
Those are, yeah, we do have some temps that are helping out with some of the assessments for the water department. We have 2 right now doing that. When I say we're going to combine 2 positions, one's going to come out of parks and it's going to combine with the mechanic position. And with the parks, what we're going to do is when they get into the high season, we'll hire temps to assist with that high season, then go from there.
Forget it. And I hate to get too specific on you. Do you know how many full-time employees you have for the street department and parks department?
So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 current positions filled in the streets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in parks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in solid waste. And they do the convenience center as well. 3 that do janitorial. 3 at the cemetery. And water, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we got 4 currently in water with 2 vacancies. Wastewater, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in wastewater at this time. And then for billing, the clerks and all that, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of those. And then we have Mr. Ledbetter that does all the GIS mapping. And then I got 2 deputies and then me.
Good. Any questions from our committee?
I have one. What I heard you talk about how you want to do a newer revised maintenance plan here coming up. What is
Yes.
your plan right now for maintenance on all your equipment? Are
So-
you logging things?
So currently, yes and no. Currently, the maintenance plan is all over. It's dependent on departments. One department does it this way, one does it this way. So I am looking, we do have a program that we have currently, but I'm looking at another program that's kind of like the Cadillac version of the program we have right now. And then in that program, once I get the fleet maintenance supervisor on, we will build basically a complete maintenance program for all of our equipment within the city. And they'll go through our mechanics department. So we'll be able to schedule like oil changes and all that. They'll have preset schedules for that. They'll also have the yearly inspections that they have to do. We're going to build these inspections into these programs. So when they come in, they know exactly what they need to do, and they have to do it step by step of each
At
For
how
each one.
many hours?
And these programs will log hours. Also, the program will actually track parts. And so, with that, once we get this set up, we can order like police vehicles. They're usually F-150 and they're usually the same kind of parts. We could order those in bulk, probably save money. Because currently we're actually just going back and forth to O'Reilly's or something. So overall, I think we'll start saving money on our maintenance.
So you'll have an inventory log? Pretty
Well,
much what it'll be with all the different.
yes,
parts of
even
each
the program we do now does have inventory log like that. But the new one will actually be better if we go with that program, but I'm still looking at these. So the program I'm looking at is asset management program, but it also, along with that, it also can track our street maintenance as well. Sign maintenance, it tracks all kinds of stuff.
I have a question. Just to clarify, can you tell me, does the water department have a backhoe? Or do they borrow from somebody
They
else?
kind of do both. They do have one, but like we had on when we had that water leak, they're with the backhoe on the other side of this. So we end up calling in Parks, who actually end up going to the cemetery and grabbing theirs. So it's just one of those.
And your plan is to have a designated backhoe for the water department?
Yes,
Okay,
the one that we're going to order is for the water department.
okay, perfect.
So
And then I did have a question on your maintenance. Once you get this maintenance supervisor position and you get the program you like, will you then be in control of all maintenance for all city fleets? So police department, fire department, all of that? Or
Yeah,
or
yeah,
will you just control the public
we're
works?
gonna initially start off with the equipment that we can do.
Okay.
Like fire department equipment is pretty specific, and so
Right.
they do have specialty vendors that they go
Right,
to for that
absolutely.
stuff. But most everything else, yes, our backhoes and everything. And so hopefully we'll get a program where they can do most of our work and most of the big work that we have to go. Just it's limited to fixing the big items, but to get us a good supervisor, that's why I had to combine two positions so we can be able to afford basically a experienced mechanic.
Right. Okay,
So
thank you.
I have one more question. I know we purchased a blade, right?
yes,
Did we purchase rollers for that blade, the roller attachments?
no, it's just the blade. So those will all be once we start learning what we actually need for this. We'll start purchasing some of the attachments and stuff like that. We also met with the county. They're gonna actually start training our guys at the well field. So we're gonna start learning out there at the well field where we fix our roads out there. That was one of the things when the state came in too, is access to our wells. They did come in right at the end of a good rainy season and it's all dried up, so we didn't have time to go out there, but that's what we're gonna do with the blade. And then, of course, some of our bigger equipment like the street sweeper, that was a big item on our stuff. So since they allotted money for that, we can actually start looking at something else now that we need to purchase. Because like our roller, the compactors that we have, it's very old. They actually drive it standing up because the seat is just hard on their backs and stuff like that. Which
Steel roller?
yeah, causes a safety issue. So, we're just going to start assessing of what equipment we actually need and then build a plan to purchase what we need as we go.
Very good. I think years ago, we used to have boiler we did our own chip seal and boilers and chip spreaders. Do you know if they were very old, bad shape? Are they?
They were in bad shape. I don't know if we can fix them. I'm hoping when we get us a good mechanic on staff, we can start assessing these other equipments that's been down for a while, see if we can get them back working. If not, then develop a plan to get it replaced.
And then I had one question years ago, we bought a pothole patching machine that was similar to a chip seal and sprayed oil and gravel. Do you still utilize that machine?
That I'm not sure. I'll have to double check on that one for you.
I know I see them with the hot box going around. Is doesn't, I don't know if it has the oil attachment, I know that machine has the capabilities for it.
Big tank with an arm and a shot of oil, then you hit a different.
Yeah, I haven't seen them using that. I'll double check on that one for sure. I know that the hot box is what they've been using mainly.
Very good. Just for reference, 25, 30 years ago, you're probably one down in the streets and four down in parks, and I couldn't tell you on the other ones, but that's just comparison where we were 30 years ago. No different though. We didn't have, we only had one janitor. We didn't have GIS. We didn't have a lot of that other stuff. So just for your.
Yeah, and along lines with that too, we are fairly young in all these departments, so it's gonna take us a lot of training to get up to speed, but with that training, we can start learning what equipment we actually need and what they can use, you know. Just like the motor grader, we didn't have nobody trained on that, so we got the equipment first and now we gotta train people on it, so.
When is that training gonna start? Date or?
They're trying to make plans now. They're trying to get the motor grader out to the well field. Once they get that, they'll get back with, I believe it's Steve at the county.
Oh, yeah, perfect, yeah.
Yeah, and and they're coordinating with them to assist us with that training.
That's exciting.
I'd like to commend Pat, Steve, and his crew for helping out the park, getting some dumpsters kind of moved around. And there's one old fence that that might have been used back in the day to kind of separate the ball field and the park. And they got all that taken out and hauled off, and it looks a heck of a lot better than what it did with getting rid of that fence.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, nope, we're starting simple, you know, do the things that really doesn't cost us money up front, but you know, makes the appearance a lot better. And then at the same time, developing plans for future of all these parks, so.
Very good. Any further questions? No, we'll move on. The next item was cemetery expansion update. Tad, I know that you had a separate committee with staff looking at some stuff. If you could just update the committee briefly.
Yeah, but the working group came together. I think we had a good session during that time. Had a lot of brainstorming. You know, I think overall what came out of it was we do need to get that surveyed and start meeting with engineers so we can develop a plan for the expansion of that cemetery. Some of the ideas that came out of it is, you know, like in the new section is maybe doing a columbarium, you know, then also doing what the green burial concept, where it's actually trees and like a garden, and they can do their ashes into that garden / trees, just almost like a landscape project, but we keep it nice and clean and stuff like that. So along those lines, the semi-sites software that I was telling you about, they advise that they can incorporate columbariums, the green burial concept, into that site itself. And I did get a quote for that site. Initial quote is going to be $20,500 to implement it, and that means getting all our maps and everything and building the site for us for our old part of the cemetery, and then in the future building the new one. And then after the site is actually built and we get it exactly where we want it, it's $3,000 a year to maintain it. And so that would do almost everything we need to do. You can buy plots off of that. You can find your loved ones. They'll map them for you when you get on scene. Eventually, if we go to the place where we start actually selling ourselves and collecting, we can do that all from the site. People can actually purchase it on the site. And it tracks basically everything for us. It will help the parks or cemetery crew when they're out there. They can actually have a tablet, be out there and be talking to them and showing them on the website what we can do. So, but I think for now, I think our biggest thing is we need to start moving on the new side and probably get with the surveyors, engineers, and start building that project.
Very good. I was fortunate enough to get to show up at your meeting and be a part of that. It's very good. We heard some great ideas. The most fantastic idea, what Mr. Minden brought up, was how to financially maybe support that for a future for our kids and grandkids. And you know, the things we do now, we won't see the benefit of it, but our kids and grandkids might. So those are things that are very important. Cause there's no way that we can keep managing on as fast as it's going. If it fills up, we'll be in trouble. So I like setting it up for the future to be able to operate functions. Any
Yes.
questions about cemetery from the group?
I do. What do we need to do? Cause I just buried my wife out there and there's very few plots left.
We probably need to start meeting with them engineers pretty quick and stuff, develop a plan. You know, cause we're gonna have to build the roads, we're gonna have to do the irrigation, and we have to actually have a plan in place to do this. So I think that's probably our first step that we probably need to do.
Yeah, for sure. I drove past the cemetery last night. You can't avoid driving past the cemetery in Portales. You're gonna do that. And having had this meeting, I was thinking that we should probably take a small slice of the property that we own. And then look at an immediate expansion of what we need to do. If we took even a 50-meter or 100-meter swath out of the cemetery on the southern portion, made an assessment on how many plots that held, we could feasibly move over rapidly and seek the permitting and really not have to go for a full-blown design concept. We could just move it over 50 to 100 meters, and that would accommodate several plots. And we can buy some time by doing that. I believe we can. So I'm gonna talk to Pat. We're gonna get immediately involved in looking at that application, as opposed to standing by and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, or maybe even in the M's of a design that covers all 40 to 60 acres out there.
So we've got an overall plan, kind of like what we want to do, and we can phase it in, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, kind of like that.
Yes, we can do that, you know. As far as like the survey and all, we just want to make sure what's ours and then where we go. Cause you know, we do have to plan, even if we just do one section at a time. But we got to plan for the irrigation and the roads and, you know, really how we want that cemetery to go. Are we going to want a full-time office out there? If so, where are we going to put it and different things? So, you know, the group had a bunch of different ideas. So we're gonna probably meet again pretty soon and then start building the overall plan of the steps we need to take it probably in the future and then in the long.
So Pat, what do you need from this committee so you can proceed? Because all right now is kicking the can down the road. Cemetery's pulling in, it's gonna be one time, we're not gonna have any space.
I think it starts with the survey, which I don't think should be terribly expensive and I think that is categorized as an emergency procedure, just to get something in line. There have been some, Sammy knows some of the horror stories. There have been some costly mistakes made out in that cemetery because of surveys and landscaping and people getting buried where people are already at. And so it has to be done right, but by the same token, we have a bit of an emergency, you know, regarding running out of spaces. But I think it's all in place and the ball is rolling as far as I can tell.
Mhm.
And additionally, with getting some funding to get some of the groundwork started.
Well, and I love Mr. Mitten's idea. Let's really look at seeing if we can open up a quick portion as quickly as we can, and then your additional monies go to improving that and expanding the future. So I think it's a good path forward. It's just,
And Pat's idea on the software is, it's actually far more critical than it might appear at surface level, is because you know, JC, for example, JC will be retiring someday, you know, He's got almost 25 years. I assume Scott Reeves would be retiring someday. And he has a lot of knowledge. So there's a whole bunch of knowledge. Sammy's not gonna work forever. He has knowledge of that cemetery. We have got to take action and steps to protect the knowledge and the history of that cemetery, or it'll only be a matter of a few years before we're in deep trouble. And the software has a role in that, of making sure that documents and history is categorized correctly and can proceed into generations to come, so we don't get in the position of selling somebody's plots that have already been sold and things like that, or building a road over where people are buried or things like that. So at any rate.
So I think it's not on this one, but maybe next meeting we can have an action item of where we think first steps are, get it approved and start moving on from there.
We'll definitely keep leaving it in our staff reports for sure. That
Yeah.
way, we're gonna keep talking about it every week until we get it done. So
Yeah, so we can do that, and then we have an action next one and we can get it on the city agenda.
And we're
Okay.
thinking that we don't have to do a design plan if we do this small expansion. That would-
you're still gonna have to.
I think maybe if we just cut the design plan and be like, okay, let's start right here and design this right here instead of the overall thing. But yeah, overall, I think we still need, I think it's critical to actually do the design plan, especially with the irrigation and the roads. At least have some type of plan that we're gonna do. And it could be just a little corner that's closest to the old
Right.
part. That way it disconnects right there, and we're going from there. You know, and some of the ideas that we kicked off too is maybe the little section that's across the alleyway that the city owns, maybe moving the operations of the shop over there. And if we move that over there, we would have that land right there also in the old one to continue right there, and move that out of the sight of the actual cemetery itself, but behind it, still fenced where it's still accessible to the cemetery crew. So we've got a lot of options that we can do. But I think the first step is the survey and start planning for that first section that we need to open up.
So we had a
Right.
pretty good meeting the other day. We discussed that already. I've been crunching some numbers based on known data since we've been talking right here. Give some ideas, rough order of magnitude. Ideas like Pat was just talking about were some of the things we were discussing in the meeting. But to give you an idea, we just discussed capital outlay, unless the governor squashes it, we believe we have $250,000 for some move ahead money on expansion improvements. So that's gonna get us going. I mean, we are going, we're in motion. But to give you an idea, when I say expanding the cemetery to the south by 100 meters, that's just talking points right now. But let me give you number points inside those talking points. If we were to expand the cemetery only by 100 meters, or by 50, but let me tell you what 100 means. 100, based on what I just crunched, talking about cemetery data this node, would be 2,500 to 3,500 additional cemetery plots. That's a lot. I mean, that's significant, right? So maybe 100 meters is not the number we need. Maybe it's substantially smaller to get moving. And by picking a smaller swath of land, getting the permits, starting to do that, then we can reach it with the infrastructure that we already have. So the tools that we have, the roads that we have, et cetera. So I think we're a lot farther down the, no pun intended, road than we think we are, by having some almost money in the pocket, some leaning forward on some of these ideas. Now we just need to start connecting the dots on some of that permitting and things like that. And I firmly believe that if we start doing that now, which we're already in motion, that when that money comes to fruition, assuming the governor doesn't squash it, there will be time and space to have a plan of where we start grabbing them down in pretty short order. But that's a substantial number. 100 meters south is somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 extra grave sites. And that's pretty substantial.
And I think there's what was it, about 100 burials out there per year?
About 100, he's about 120, right? 120.
I think he reported somewhere between 120 and
100,
112,
yeah.
what I remember.
So
And I don't, and that was just, that was not including cremations, the way I remember.
So just a little bit of expansion, in an emergency situation would go a pretty long way.
Yeah,
It'd buy some time.
the limit, the 100 burials, but oftentimes people, will buy the family plot, so they're willing to buy 10 or 12 plots or several plots, and that's the, problem that.
Yeah, now on the plot concept though, once we have a no kidding solid full cemetery expansion plan and we own that ground, which we do. We could possibly look at buying plots before the plots are ready with a disclaimer. Saying as a purchaser, you know that this is not ready, and it's subject to something else, but we can meet time and space, going forward, I believe. And we'll just have to check the legal, moral and ethical applications of doing that. But for all intents and purposes, I think we're well on our way to finding a solution, at least a 5 or 10 year solution for the cemetery as it stands.
Very good. Any further questions? No, moving on, I have on the agenda Kilgore Road closures update. We know this, it's a big one. Kilgore's closed and,
Kilgore's closed, so
yeah, give us an update of timeline and if maybe you could sneak in any other road closures. Yeah. Going in town.
yep, so Kilgore's closed. It should be open by next Wednesday, Thursday. They're just allowing time for the concrete to cure because they did pour 8 inches of concrete there instead of going back with asphalt, because if they went back in with all asphalt, the chances of it dipping was high, so they went with concrete, which made the road closed for approximately 2 weeks. So I believe Wednesday or Thursday is when they're supposed to open up next week. The bad thing is, with all the construction going on Kilgore, we're probably gonna have some more of that in the near future, which is, it's good and bad. We got companies coming in, but they're coming in after we did our road. But it's there. So, but for now, this one's gonna be back open next Wednesday or Thursday.
Good. Are there any other closures you know about?
I seen it this morning, but I haven't had time to get the reason for it, but the streets closed off Avenue A from the 400 block forward to 500 block. So I haven't got the update on that yet, so I'm gonna go.
Those big arterials they close sometimes. I've had a few questions asked. It's part of growth, so it happens.
Yeah.
The bad thing, we know the road was just redone, but sometimes maybe the road getting redone sparks some of the growth, so it's hard to decipher that, so that's something to think about.
It does. So, and usually now we're getting pretty good at advising when we're gonna close a road. Most of the time when the road closes, it's because we have a water main break or something. And so it's at the spur of a moment, no planning, just get out there and get it done. So sometimes it's closed for all day, sometimes it's a few hours, but we actually have been sending out notifications to the public when we do those closings now. So
There was a road closing near RCEC. Do you know what that was for and if it's open?
no, I didn't know that one.
Okay.
So
I believe, at the railroad tracks.
I just know that you couldn't go across at that
Yeah.
stoplight.
On Main,
stoplight?
that one's open again.
I know Railroad had theirs closed, Maine, and a couple of things they're doing work. They might come back and do some more closings because they're supposed to come back in 3 weeks and start cleaning out all the culverts, the pipes for the drainage and stuff like that. So they're supposed to come back and do that. And they said tentatively they're 3 weeks out. And that was a couple days ago. So hopefully they'll come in and get that done.
Any further questions?
I do have a question, just in general. Does the city have any kind of ordinance for people cutting roads? I mean, I know the county does. I'm just curious if they have to say fix a water leak that might be right on the shoulder and they have to dig into the road a little bit. Is there any kind of ordinance that says you have to get a permit or anything from the city?
Yeah, there's cut
there is.
permits and stuff
Okay.
like that they're
Okay.
supposed to be getting to. So And I know the street guys are usually trying to, they keep their eye out for that kind of stuff
Okay,
going
good.
on.
Okay.
Cause I know they had a contractor cut curb last week and they approached them,
Okay, good.
so.
Okay. I was just curious because we do have to get them from the county when we cut a road with the
Yeah,
county. I was
they
just
do.
curious, but-
So, and along those lines too, all of our permitting stuff is done. Just you go in, you have to fill out a sheet and all that. So the software that I'm looking at, the asset management also has a permitting software on it. So we are gonna look at that too, is trying to get everything digital and online. Hopefully they'll save staff time and contractors' time and all that stuff to be able to do this kind of stuff online.
I have a question. Is the piping that's gonna be necessary to feed the new water to the Lime Street tank, is that already in place, or will Lime Street have to be dug up so that piping can be laid?
Lime Street is actually already, the pipe's already to the tank from
Mhm.
Butte Water.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So I know Lime Street is one of the streets that's in the pipeline to be redone as one of the
Right.
main arterial streets.
yes.
And it would be a shame if the street was redone and then it had to be torn
No,
up again.
absolutely, but no, that
Yeah.
part's already done.
Oh, okay.
I believe they put the pipes in the, off the road, right? Right to the right of the road.
Yeah, it just crossed it though, underneath, so.
So I'm straight, is this under the Kilgore Road closure update?
No, that's not. It's different, question.
But we're still on the agenda, staff reports, updates, Kilgore Road, are we not? Okay.
Very good. Next item, discussion action items. First action is unfortunately, Ms. Barker can no longer serve as secretary for helping us with minutes and agenda. Doing multiple jobs, so do you want to elaborate any or?
Yeah, just, we had our water advisory meeting first and I was nominated as the secretary for that one and then this one. And it's just become a little bit too much between that and trying to manage and run the water co-op. We've got a couple of big projects we've got one that's already started and another one is in the preliminary researching stages right now. So I just don't feel like I can give the amount of commitment that it needs. I feel like it's fallen off a little bit, so. But I do still want to be part of the committee. I just can't do the secretary position with both of them.
Understand, well, we need to appoint a secretary. The position is important, it helps us with the minutes and agendas and get some distributed, so do I have any nominations for a secretary?
You would have the option not to accept resignation.
Sorry. I'd nominate Ian Hillsman.
Mr. Hillsman,
What's that?
we have a motion and a. Margaret can give you an update of how.
Absolutely.
We need to, that needs to function. We had a other discussion item, cemetery rules, we've been distributed some rules, we were looking over those rules. We can certainly take some action, I kind of would like to postpone that item myself to, look forward to maybe next couple of meetings, what the cemetery has, let's do it all at once. Give a bigger, with some of your ideas, those rules might need to change some. So, anyway, we'll entertain a motion. I entertaining the motion to discuss these rules, or also a motion to postpone these. With this, okay,
Second.
very good. We'll go to discussion. Tabling is a weird word in Robert's Rule of Order. Sometimes it means throw it under the table and don't bring it out.
Yeah, let's make a motion to postpone.
Yeah, So that would probably be a
motion. Yeah, I think where you are right now is postponing. If the action item was already open and someone opened it, then I think we would table it. But since you're just discussing it right now, then you just postpone it. I think that's all right.
Yeah, just make a motion to postpone
Do we have an amended motion to postpone?
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Item C, infrastructure capital improvement plan, Mr. Mitten, again, we didn't know if we needed action on that, so this is up to you.
We do, here we go.
Okay,
There you go. All right. Let's do some work and get some stuff done. So we talked about the ICIP a little bit, 5 years and we'll talk about grants later. I'm up here today, the city of Portales is requesting the Public Works Committee and your formal involvement in the reviewing, evaluating, and recommending priorities for the city's 3 to 5 year infrastructure capital improvement plan. Why the committee involvement matters. When you get involved in assisting and prioritizing projects for ICIP, infrastructure capital improvement plan, it ensures cross-community collaboration and broad representation. Very often, when ICIP dates come up and projects come up, we have to do them on our own. If we're up against deadlines and things like that, oftentimes somebody like Miss McVeigh, Joe McVeigh, will decide on a project that goes forward simply because nobody else has the input, thought, collaborative efforts or anything like that. So we're up against the clock. We're gonna put something in there so that we don't miss out on opportunities. But by getting you involved, it gives a lot of other experts, other points of contact, and a broader spectrum of community involvement. So when somebody later says, why did we decide that we needed to buy a city-owned fireworks stand, which by the way, we would never do. But if we did, someone comes back later and says, who decided that? We can look at a broader spectrum of society and say, together, we did this as a community. We decided this was in the best interest of the city. It also matters because it leverages your subject matter expertise and your knowledge of roads, parks, solid waste, and real property. It increases transparency and public trust in major infrastructure decisions. It doesn't put one decision on $1 million project or other dollar figures on one person because they're trying to meet the clock and getting a request. It prevents tunnel vision and it prevents limited staff perspectives when evaluating sometimes $1 million projects. The committee would review that infrastructure capital improvement plan proposals annually. You would prioritize and help list infrastructure projects to ensure rapid applications when someone has to submit them on a timeline. By pre-vetting these, looking at them and racking and stacking them as a committee, the work that you do makes the city staff work very easy. By prioritizing and having a pre-prioritized rack and stack list, when a funding or capital outlay project or ICIP submission becomes available, we can just go to the pre-approved list. We don't have to sit there and try to weigh things at our own level and waste precious staff calories and time. As a committee, you would evaluate the need, impact, cost, and funding opportunities through ICIP. As a committee, you would provide prioritized recommendations to the city staff and council so that we don't have to do it on our own without our expertise. As a committee, you would participate in the discussions about ICIP, and you would help the council with clarification as we move forward as a combined team to discuss with the elected body why they should approve the rack and stack list that you help provide. This supports stronger grant applications and legislative requests to ICIP. It supports smarter long-term capital planning. It supports equitable and well-justified infrastructure investment. My request and action today is that as a committee, you formally adopt and you provide a motion to formally adopt establishing a public works committee's role in the ICIP and the infrastructure prioritization recommendation process that enhances the efficacy of that program. So today I'm asking you, someone to make a motion and that the committee decides that you will be part of an integral part of the decision process, the racking, the stacking, the prioritization of the infrastructure capital improvement program and plan, so that others don't have to unilaterally make decisions that often go into the millions of dollars.
Very good.
I make a motion that we do exactly what he requested.
I second that.
Because of that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. Yes, sir. Any discussion? No further discussion. We have a motion by Mr. Woolley, a second by Mr. Sanchez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Okay, welcome aboard. Thanks.
Thank you.
Send you some nice and stuff.
Now I have a question when we do this. Are we open to everybody when we sit by and they're gonna give us a list of projects? We're gonna rack and stack and we're gonna evaluate all this and make a recommendation. Do we do it behind closed doors or do we do it in front of everybody? What is the process?
The process will be just like we're doing today. We will bring a list forward, we'll bring a tenable list forward that we're competitive for. And that falls within the needs of the city's comprehensive plan. And we'll bring it forward. Anything that we bring forward will be umbrellaed under the city's current comprehensive plan. And then we will work with you and you will crunch to rack and stack those based on your knowledge of the needs and the requirements of the city. And we'll also kind of help keep you on the right track as far as cost estimates, what's realistic and what's not realistic and those kind of things. So we will give you the tools that you need as a committee to rack and stack these for the highest probability of success in the capital outlay programs. Now, that being said, going forward, just so you know, because the next item on the agenda is to talk about future items that might go on the future agendas. I'm going to approach you with the same thing for all grants that move forward, that we are provided a notice of funding opportunity. I'm going to provide the same thing to you next time we meet. This is not on the agenda. I'm going to ask you to do the same type of thing for any grants related to anything public infrastructure, including roads, not water, but roads, solid waste management, parks, and anything that doesn't fall specifically into one of those, but comes under public works. Okay. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Next item is item D, any future agenda items for next agenda. And again, we're still new at this. We're gonna get better. We're gonna figure it out. We will be future. Now's the time to add it to the agenda. We'll also be we'll send out notices to any requests that you can think of, as long as we have it by a certain deadline, we can add it on the agenda. So anything that you know about now that you would like to have on the agenda? Nothing at this time, and I'll work with staff in developing the next agenda, then we'll work through that.
Okay.
Next meeting is March 12th.
March 12th. Very good, with no further questions.
One second.
Yes, sir.
Time frame, Christine?
He takes the time.
Yeah, so currently we're at 9:30 on March 12th, is that correct?
Yes.
We did have a request to possibly move these meetings to 9 o'clock. I don't know if we can formally change it today or if we need to have it as an agenda item, but this was brought up, so
No, you're the chair.
Listen, there's a RCCDC.
At what time? You need to shift the time.
What's the location?
we may have a conflict with the next meeting. So,
I mean, the city, we could do 2 meetings at one time as long as the RCCDC board meeting is there, not here. And there's no conflicts with anybody.
The meetings.
I think since the meeting was set up, they had nothing, under action item that would need another action item to discuss and then. And we put that on the
meeting dates and times, so. Very good, we'll add it to the next agenda, so the next one will be at 9:30 on March 12th. And then, well, that'll be on our next agenda. Those meeting dates and times again. Very good. Well, no objection. I'll adjourn the meeting.